Hello everyone. In this video, we will talk about addiction in general and clearly. In the end, we will be able to establish certain rules that will help us establish an understanding of recovery from any type of addiction, as there are many types of addiction, including food addiction, alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and last but not least, porn addiction, which is the most dangerous addiction of all these types of addictions. This is what we came to talk about clearly. But this will not prevent us from talking about other types of addiction in one way or another, as all types of addiction share certain spaces, and in trying to understand these spaces, we will come up with methods that will help us get rid of any potential addiction. From here, we will talk about several clear points related to any type of addiction that you need to understand well. The first point. It is that we, as addicts, have basically learned to use a substance to change our psychological state. But why? This is not just for the sake of improving the psychological state, as most people believe that the addict, especially the drug addict, uses drugs to achieve euphoria and momentary happiness as a result of using the narcotic substance. But in fact, the addict uses the addictive substance to calm his negative feelings as a result of something he is unable to deal with, and this also does not prevent him from using it to improve the psychological state, as we said before. The addict consumes the addictive substance in order to change his current psychological state, as he sees that his life is no longer intolerable and that this reality for him has become more difficult than his ability to perceive, comprehend, and deal with. The food addict and the porn addict share this. Both of them, at certain moments that may or may not be conscious, experience certain pressures and feelings that may be unbearable for them. In such cases, the addict does not have any methods, skills, or tools to deal with these feelings and pressures, and he also does not have the skills to deal with his life effectively. He is unable to deal with the difficulties he faces in his daily life. Whatever the addict's addictive substance is, whether food, alcohol, drugs, or pornography, they all share an attempt to change the current psychological state of feelings and thoughts that occupy the addict's mind at a given moment. The principle here is not to improve the mood as much as to get out of this temporary happiness with this narcotic substance, regardless of its type, from the psychological pain that exists in the first place. The second point. It is that addiction is based on two natures in the addict's personality. The first nature is sensitivity to this substance, which means, for example, that many teenagers and young people are exposed to pornography, but most of them do not become addicted to it. There are also many people who try smoking, but most of them do not become addicted to it. As well as with regard to fast food, alcohol, and so on. Hence, we can say that there is a psychological sensitivity in the addicted person towards that addictive substance, as the effect of that addictive substance varies from one person to another. The effect of this addictive substance on the mind, feelings, and thoughts of the person and addict, as well as his orientation in life, is more profound, deeply rooted, and comprehensive. It's so huge. The effect of watching pornography and masturbation differs from the person who is addicted to it from the person who does it from time to time. The matter here is related to the feelings and thoughts that control the addict's mentality. Therefore, you will find that every addict has his own addictive substance, even if his addictions are multiple. This sensitivity controls a very important point, which is the state of eagerness, which is the state of longing for the narcotic substance. The effect of this narcotic substance on the addict, on his body, mind, and being is so profound that he becomes in a state of constant need for it. When the addict finishes using and becomes in a bad psychological state, the first thing that comes to his mind is that he wants the effect of that addictive substance again. He wants that big, weird rush of dopamine. Dopamine is the substance that gives us a feeling of pleasure and reward inside the brain, and that substance that drives us towards continuation. It is basically addiction, but it is necessary for the survival of our lives, but we have used it completely incorrectly. From here we understand that this sensitivity causes two very important things. The first thing is the addict's eagerness and desire to repeat that experience again. The second thing, which is very, very important, is the feeling of helplessness and loss of control. In other words, for example, in the case of porn addiction, it is difficult for the addict to watch a pornographic clip and suddenly want to stop. In the case of alcohol addiction, it is difficult for the addict to stop drinking the rest of the entire bottle after the first drink. This is because it has become difficult for the addict to control the dose of the addictive substance, as the addict at a certain stage wants to take the dose that brings back that experience to him again. Because this sensitivity, psychological and sometimes physical, towards the addictive substance prevents us from stopping the use of that addictive substance. This explains the addict's ability to be unable to stop using the addictive substance. As for the second nature, which is mental obsession, meaning that the porn and sex addict may imagine that his sexual organs are the driving cause of the addiction. Likewise, a food addict may imagine that his stomach is the problem. But in fact, the defective organ in all types of addiction is definitely the mind, regardless of the type of addiction. So that every addict has a degree of obsession, which is an urgent thought that constantly addresses him and encourages him to use again, as if it is speaking to him, saying that this is your salvation and that this is the thing that will fix things and make them okay. From here we conclude that this psychological sensitivity that we talked about previously makes the addict unable to stop using the addictive substance. Mental obsession makes addictive thoughts constantly present to re-experience addiction again. This psychological sensitivity and this mental obsession are what keep the addict still involved in addiction. But after all that, this does not prevent the existence of solutions that we can use to deal with these problems. If you have reached this point in the video, this means that you really want to reach the true path to recovery, that is, what you are suffering from, and this is what we will talk about in the rest of this series, the series of establishing an understanding of recovery. To watch the rest of the series, please subscribe and activate the notification bell to receive a notification when the next video is released. Share this video with those who really need it, so that you may become a reason for someone's recovery and help others. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a nice day.